one step forward, two steps back, and that's just the way it's been going. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Obese Clay. I'm your host, Harley, and just like the opening said, I finally made a video on a Monday. What happens? I don't make a video for a month. Everything was going my way too. I was walking. I had got up to a half a mile that weekend, walking without any pain. My diet was real good, and everything was going spectacular. And everything was going spectacular that week too. Exercising, eating right, everything. It's not all bad news. It ain't all good news either. So for that entire month while I wasn't making any videos, I was sleeping, and I just couldn't get anything right. Oh man, it was terrible. There was one week there that I literally didn't get out of bed for more than 4 hours a day. I was so tired. I was sleeping. I don't know what the deal was. I have a speculation, but that's another story for another video and another day. We're just making our updates here, and we're just coming on back strong. The only good thing is well, here's where it gets bad, and this is where I knew it was going to happen. I just can't let it defeat me, and I've got to get back into the swing of things. I haven't been exercising. Oh, it's terrible. Every bit of progress that I'd made, it's probably gone, except for I have kept the one shining light is I have kept eating correctly. I haven't been going over, over the limit. I've been eating about 1,500 calories a day. Now, let's say that's not every day, because of course, some days you don't make that. Some days it's a little over. However, it's never been over so much that it would put me into a category where I would have gained weight. So it's never been over, say, 2,100 calories. So I've been watching what I eat. I've been eating correctly, even though I hadn't been exercising, because I can control the eating. The sleeping and being tired, I guess I can sort of control that too, in a way. However, at that point in time I couldn't, and my sleep pattern was messed up. I mean, just tore up. And because obviously I am disabled and don't work, being disabled and not working, I'm home all the time. So, but if I'm not up during the day, then I have a hard time exercising, because I can't exercise at night, because it wakes people up. So that's the time I need to be up during the day. And I kept fighting with that. And the times I'd be up, I would just be miserable. It was bad. I don't know. Maybe my body just wasn't used to it or whatever, but it's about to start up again. Even though I haven't started exercising again. However, the one thing I have been doing is trying this thing where I only eat during 10 hours of the day, and the other 16 is like a fast. It's working really good. I'm also doing intermittent fasting, a week on and a week off, which is I don't eat for a day. I eat regular during the 10 hours the next day. Don't eat a day. Doing that on the weeks that I'm doing intermittent fasting is 4 times out of the week. And let me tell you, folks, and these results are my own. Let me state this right now. Consult a doctor. Don't do what I'm doing just because I'm saying it's working for me. Don't take my advice as doctorly advice, because it is not. I'm just going to tell you what I've done and what's happening. Everything else is your decision. let me make that perfectly clear. I am not advising to do this. All right? However, when I started the intermittent fasting, it seemed to me that taking the insulin when I wasn't eating was a dumb idea. That just seemed like a recipe for disaster. So I didn't take it. So, of course, my blood sugar was good. Great. Next morning I woke up, I took it, blood sugar was low. I mean, not low, but it was within normal ranges, and that's where it was supposed to be. So what I did is I decided, okay, I'm not going to take my insulin again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat and then check my blood 2 hours after that, and that's what I'm going to do for the meals. And then if it gets too high, then I'll use insulin. Okay, because I mean, the stuff that I have is long acting over a period of time. So as long as I was, I mean, hell, when they found me to be diabetic, I was at 238. As long as I wasn't spiking into the 300s and 400s, I was going to be perfectly fine. So I played a little experiment. 8. Didn't even peak 120. Didn't take my insulin. I haven't taken my insulin now for 7 days. So I'm going to continue this. This is my week of eating regular, and I'm not worried. I'm checking it after I eat. I'm checking it at night. I'm checking it in the morning. If it spikes up, I'll take it. But I'm not going to inject my body full of that garbage if I don't need it. And so far, my blood sugar levels have been way better. When I was having problems sleeping, they were ungodly. It was terrible. And I'm telling you, I was having so many problems. They never got above 200, but there was a couple of days where it was 180, and I'm just like, what? This is ridiculous. It obviously had to do with the way I was sleeping and what was going on. But enough about that. We're off of that. We're going way different. The other bad thing, I started drinking diet soda. Now we got to stop that. Slipping. Knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. I got too fit. You know what? The exact same thing happened when the first time I stopped trying to dip. I was sitting there, and I was 6 months. 6 months no dip. Then I thought to myself, I can have one. Just one can will be fine. I'll reward myself for 6 months. Start dipping all over again. So this is just going to have to be a lesson. I am just going to have to stop that again altogether. And let me tell you, it was calling me yesterday. I mean, it's hard to say that. I mean, diet soda was never my thing. I'm not drinking regular soda, obviously, because I'm not drinking the sugar. So that's just, that's just what that is. But the diet stuff isn't good for me either. I was actually doing kind of all right, because actually the first time I drank diet soda was on my birthday, and it was because I was using it as a mixer for drinks. And then I got the wild idea that every once in a while turned to a lot. And not necessarily every day, but let's just say this week hadn't been exactly all that great, all that spectacular. Probably about 3 days I've drank diet soda, maybe 4, maybe 5. It's pretty up there. Maybe all week, maybe not all week. But the main thing is it's got to stop, and the diet soda drinking's got to stop, and the exercising has got to resume. The only positive thing I can say is that at least it's Monday. Here's a video. It's gonna be put up, and my dieting is, I mean, not, well, my food eating. I shouldn't say dieting because, I mean, the only thing I'm restricting myself is sugar and like breads, and I mean that's really not. The sugar is more of a leap than the bread. For me, I mean, for me, I know a lot of people are like, oh, pasta, bread, blah, blah, you know, gotta have, I can't be without it, and that's a diet. That really wasn't the case for me. You know, I do like spaghetti. Who doesn't? Not gonna lie. But I didn't eat that on a regular basis either. Bread, the one thing I did miss was sandwiches, but you know what I've been doing? I just been taking that meat and putting it in between lettuce. And that's perfectly fine because really the bread didn't really make it. It was the sandwich meat. So if I have all the vegetables the same thing and the lettuce is holding it together, I'm perfectly content. So, I mean, while, yeah, I guess it is sort of dieting, I don't feel that actual aspect of it is dieting, for the bread part at least. You know, the sugars and stuff, of course, there are certain, you know, treats I would like to have. And there's been a couple of days that was pretty bad, where I really thought about it, and actually did break down. I ain't gonna lie, I did break down and had, I ate them within portion to keep the blood spike down, or yeah, to keep the sugars down. But yeah, I did have like, you know, a couple of Laffy Taffies, and Harbo makes the blue and raspberry candies. I did buy a sack of those and ate those over a period of, ate that sack over a period of days, which normally wouldn't even have lasted out of the car. So the fact that I actually had some sort of self-restraint was, I guess, a win in itself. But I probably shouldn't have ate that. I probably shouldn't have ate it anyways. And you know, what are you gonna do? I mean, I don't know what else to do, especially when you ignore it so long, you ignore it so long, you ignore it so long, and you wake up and it is kicking you in the face. You know, I can more easily not eat a piece of cake than I can some of the stuff that I actually like. You know, it's, what can I say? I gave in. I think I'm probably going to give in again eventually. You know, the trick is just probably going to be not be stupid and eat several pieces at one time. You know, I mean, that's just what it's going to have to be, because I'm fine now. I'm not craving any candy. I had my fix. It's like I just needed that to kick myself in the head. But that's what it is. Oh, one great thing. Weighed myself. Lost 10 pounds. I am now down to 368. And well, of course, that was actually a few weeks ago. And I'm about to, weighing myself is about to come back up in 2 weeks, in 2 weekends. So not this weekend, but the next weekend, I gotta weigh myself. So we're gonna see exactly how this has all been working out for this past month with little to no exercise, because the little bit of exercise I want to get is going to be this week and probably next week. I did go swimming. Let me say, we didn't swim that long, and it was only one day. So I mean, if I was going to mark it off on my in my book, I'd probably mark it off, because you know, I did do some exercising, but I mean, it was no consistency, and that's really what I need. I need walking consistency. I need weight consistency. So, well, guys, even somebody that is totally turning it on, just something else. I haven't ate out of my house in almost a month. I mean, you know, sometimes we'd eat like at a regular restaurant, but I haven't eaten, and I've refused food not cooked here at home for 3 weeks, and I am so pleased with that. Not only has that saved me money, but it saved me calories, because I mean, those guys just, they're wild. They're wild at any kind of restaurant would kind of say. They don't have to, they're not conforming to calories, they're conforming to taste, and that's the reason why you go out and eat anyways. So I mean, that's just how that is, and I'm so happy. I'm proud of myself too. I mean, it's good that within a lot of this, I mean, I failed. I'm not gonna lie. I was the whole not exercising thing is killing me. Because I need to build more muscle. Although I haven't slipped back, so I mean, I know I can probably still walk a half mile without being in pain, and I think a lot of that has to do with the weight. But I mean, and the fact that I'm still losing weight, I mean, yeah, I mean that helps, the fact that I'm not exercising, but I felt better exercising. I feel good today because for the past few days I've actually my sleep schedule's actually been going. So I mean, physically, I mean, mentally I'm feeling good. Well, feeling pretty good. I'm not feeling great, but I'm feeling pretty good. But physically, I felt like garbage, and I'm feeling pretty excellent. And now I just need to add the stuff in, start rebuilding my muscles, and I mean, obviously I hadn't lost everything that I gained, but I mean, I know I've lost some of it. But I mean, what can I say? I knew going into this there were going to be days, there was going to be stretches of time where things were just going to fall apart. And I can't, and giving up is not an option. And it can't be an option for anybody. And that's really all it is. There are things that I'm proud of that I've kept up with. There's things that I'm not proud of that I haven't kept up with. And that's just how that goes, obviously, and so, to hell with it. It's a new day, starting over again. I hope everybody's had a good week, been good during all this time that I've been okay all this time that I haven't posted a video. I wish everybody the best of luck. So until next week, just because you can't do it today doesn't mean you can't do it tomorrow. See you later, folks.